Teachers of Reddit. What was the worst thing you had to confiscate from a student? My mom has had stories about what she's confiscated from lower elementary-aged students, K3. The usual prank items like whoopee cushions, sure. But one time a student was playing with this weird box. The box was locked, so she couldn't put it in the confiscated bin. She put it on top of a cabinet. About an hour later, it starts ringing. Furiously. It took some doing to get the box open. Turns out, this kid's parent was a professional chef. So the kid had grabbed every timer in the house, set them for the max amount of time, locked the box, brought it to school, and played with it so it would get confiscated and ring loudly. Whole class erupted with laughter and screaming. A true agent of chaos edit. Obligatory wow. And thank you for all of the awards. My first gold. Thank you, kind stranger. Most dangerous. A knife from an 8th grader. Most annoying. Different school than above, but a Wi-Fi jammer and a USB killing device from an 8th grader. Preschool teacher here. I had to convince a 4-year-old that his mom's wedding ring should go into a special box on the front desk instead of on the finger of a 6-year-old girl he had a crush on. Later he brought in his dad's car keys, and a bottle opener. My wife is a teacher and one of her first graders brought her 2 hard seltzers because her mom said they're good after a long day and she deserved them. I had to confiscate hand sanitizer from a student who decided to drink it to get drunk and threw up everywhere. The weirdest one was definitely the fish in a vase they found during locker checks. It was in an unassigned locker someone had added a lock to. Inside was a live betta fish in about as large a vase as you can fit in a locker. Fully decorated. Someone had clipped a little book light to the top of the vase, presumably so fish wasn't in the dark all the time. No one claimed to know whose if was or how long it had been there, so it lived in the coach's office for at least that year. Not a teacher, but a bus driver. I had to confiscate a 5th grader's cell phone a few days ago, specifically because he was showing hardcore porn to 1st graders with it. Lots of phone calls that day. A dead squirrel. I taught preschool at the time. I once did that too. My primary school in Quat, girlfriend in Quat, got kissed by a dude from her class and I was super mad, because he was stronger than me and I couldn't just get back at him with the same thing. The next day, I hear animals fighting on my way to school, and moments later, a squirrel falls dead from a tree. I have no idea what killed it, but it didn't look wounded. So I threw out my lunch and put it in the now empty bag the kid who kissed my girlfriend was, and still is, a notorious liar. So when they found it in his bag, nobody believed it wasn't him, and he couldn't say anything to prove it wasn't. He wasn't even able to say that it wasn't even his bag where the squirrel was in, because he was known for stealing other kids' lunch. I guess it was my perfect crime. Penis-shaped glass pipe with weed still in the balls bowl. Mom asked if she would be getting it back or if the school was keeping it. When I was in 5th grade, there was an active market in live bees. Some kids figured out that the weight of the average 5th grader briefly stepping on a bee, in the grass, would stun it for about a minute without actually killing it. They started going out in teams to scout bees on the field, stun them, and carefully scoop them into plastic sandwich bags. They'd then sell them to other students who'd release them in classrooms to waste class time and scare people. You could get honeybees for 25 cents a piece. Bumblebees and yellowjackets cost more. Teachers and school admin started cracking down on this. Teachers literally confiscated live bees in plastic bags from students when found, and they eventually had to start having someone watch the field to catch students in the act. Edit. A lot of people saying they had something similar, and where was this? This was East Bay Area, Northern California. If that sounds like you, it was the elementary school that had the same name as the nearby community swimming pool, and the custodian named Fred, whom everyone thought was the best. This was spring of '05, though it may have happened other years too. And quat. Gimme 5 Bs for a quarter, and quat, you'd say. In 3rd grade, I once had my entire deck of only holographic Yu-Gi-Oh cards confiscated from me for playing with them during break time too much with friends. I was told I'd be able to get them back when I graduated school, 6th grade. I said okay, not totally understanding what was going on. I forgot about them completely, though I still kept a vested interest in the TCG for a few more years, like into 5th grade, until 9th grade. I went back and asked my old third-grade teacher to return my property. Within seconds, she pulls them out of her desk drawer and hands me them. It was an odd experience. Edit. At 18.4K karma, this comment alone has given me more than 44 times my entire previous year's karma. Wow. Thanks so much, everyone. I tried to respond to as many folks as I could. This was an awesome way to spend a day off. My mom always told the story about my brother bringing a signed picture of Richard Petty to his class and telling everyone he was his dad, 2nd grade maybe, but that everyone forgot because the next kid pulled out an antique gun. My beyond innocent sister was sent to the principal's office for bringing a dildo to school and making an obscene gesture with it to her teacher. What actually happened was she was drinking these weird protein shots, to bulk up for cheerleading or something, we'd gotten from Costco, which came in a long, pink, fairly phallic tubes, kind of like this. When her teacher got mad and was like, "And quat. What is this? And quat?" My sister honestly said, "It's a protein shot," and gestured to drink it. I bet when that teacher found out they were like, "And quat. No way, and quat." Confiscated 3 knives from one kid, but the weirdest thing was a porn video from a 9-year-old girl. She brought it to school to show off to the boys. Took it from her grandfather's stash. Big tit fantasies and anal desires. Had to read it to the short-sighted 60-year-old vice principal. I was 21, at the time. Kind of off topic, but why did you have to read it to the VP? In what world does this conversation take place lol? Op. VP, I had to confiscate a pornographic video from one of the students today. VP. What's the name of the video? Op. I don't think that's relevant. VP. I said, what's the name of the video? At least it wasn't Backdoor Sluts number 9 edit. Holy crap. The most karma I ever got on a comment, and it was a throwaway reference to porn in South Park. Someone in my class had their phone taken because their Siri went off and said, "What do you need from me, slut?" A note that said, "So you gonna give the dick or what?" I teach 12-year-olds. The best note I ever intercepted. Him. Can I bite boob tonight? Her. IDK, depressed. I intercepted one and was really pleased. It said, "If you read this you're gay." I gave it back and asked the pupil to read it aloud, thus making him gay. Forever. Edit. To clarify, I didn't actually call the student gay or anything like that. More a case he reads it, he realizes the issue with the note. We can be reminded as a class if he is anyway, it doesn't matter. I taught 1st grade and confiscated a piece of a broken beer bottle from a 6-year-old. It really surprised me, because he was the sweetest kid. Turns out another classmate asked him to bring a weapon and hide it in the playground sand, so that he could get back at another kid. I tried to do more life lesson things than suspension for both boys. BC they're freakin' 6, but school policy had them both suspended for a few days. Edit. I can't believe this comment got so many likes, comments, and awards. This was seriously just the way life was at the school I taught at. I've taken many years off teaching now to be a stay-at-home mom, but I truly miss the kids I used to teach at this school. They were sweet little kids who just needed guidance. I think about these kids all the time, and I plan to go back to working in a district like this soon enough. They're amazing kids and families who just need a bit more guidance than average. But they can all be successful with the right help. WTF did I just read? A 6-year-old was planning a murder revenge plot in the playground sandbox? Dude, we had full-on gang wars in the sandpit as 8 yos. It was massive area, with different sections. The sand had become compressed in many places and dirty from trees. It was hard and you could dig it into little chunks using sharpened sticks. So we dug up and quat, sand bombs and quat, of different shapes and sizes. We even had and quat, arms dealers and quat, and miners, who specialized in digging them. And we'd all fight to control territory and access to gold sand. The most precious commodity. Gold sand was sand you'd find beneath the hard, dirty leafy top in some places that was somehow still pure and golden yellow clean. You'd happen upon a patch while digging. And then we'd fight over it and try and amass it. It was brutal too. People would get hit in the head, get sand in their eyes and mouths, and they legitimately hurt too. It all went downhill when we drove off a group of younger kids who moved to the other end of the playground where a claybank was and started mining clay bombs. Unlike sand bombs which would at least shatter, these were basically like being hit by rocks. Eventually it just escalated to such a point that I think they basically banned any play in the sandpits for a whole year once the general population started being involved. Too many civilian casualties were occurring and it brought in heat from the teachers. What happens in the sandbox, stays in the sandbox. Edit. My first gold and it's about children murdering each other. Thanks guys. Over the course of years, bottle of vodka, hidden in the girls' bathroom by 7th graders. And quat. How did you know where to look? And quat. Everyone who came back from the bathroom was drunk, so you're not as sneaky as you think. Vape and quat. My mom gave it to me for allergies. And quat. And quat. So, I'll just give it back to her then. And quat. Wide eyes. And quat. No, and quat. Student banging the primers of 23006 shells together in class. Grab. And quat. I just wanted to see if they would go off. And quat.